Hey guys, hello and welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're finally retackling the topic of best bow in the game. And on the table we got the Dread versus the Rakta Cernos. Now both of these here weapons have followings with very passionate fans, so I'm a little bit intimidated in doing this one, but I will try to keep my views as objective as possible, even though these versus videos have a natural degree of bias to them, no matter how you make them. That said, I will say that if you choose to go for the Dread or the Rakta Cernos, you're not making a mistake. Again, these are two of the best bows you can get right now. I use both of them, so let's jump into stats to see exactly a difference between the two. Dread versus Rakta Cernos. If you take a look at the lower right hand side of the screen, you will see a stat comparison between the two. Keep in mind that this screen right here is not affected by mods. Accuracy of 16.7 for both. This is standard for pretty much any decent or standard bow in the game. Charge rate of 0.5 versus 0.25. That means that it's a lot easier to get multiple shots off with the Rakta Cernos. It represents the time in which the shot is fully charged. Critical chance, this is where the Dread is king, 50% by default. This is the highest critical chance of all weapons in the game. However, the Rakta Cernos is no slouch either at 35%. Crit multi of 2.0 for both, magazine of 1, both are silent, punch through of 2.5 versus 1.0. When it comes to punch through, it has been cleared up a little bit the way it functions. Link in the card right now if you want to see how punch through actually works in Warframe. So basically, the shots from the Dread will keep traveling for 2.5 meters, and from the Rakta Cernos only 1.0. So a huge advantage here for the Dread. Reload of 0.7 versus 0.6. Now this represents the time in which you draw another arrow from your quiver. Status chance 20% for the Dread and 15% for the Rakta Cernos. Playing a bow as a status weapon in general is a pretty bad idea because again you're not firing that many projectiles at your target, but again the Dread has the advantage. When it comes to the damage, now this is where things kind of get a little bit fuzzy. Up until this point you might have said, hey, the Dread is simply superior outside of that charge rate, but the Rakta Cernos has 25% more base damage. However, take a look at the damage layout. The Rakta Cernos is an impact based weapon, which nobody really wants impact, and the Dread is a slash based weapon, so keep that difference in mind. We're going to be testing a couple of builds for these here weapons, a standard elemental build, and we're also going to be testing a bleed build or even two bleed builds just to make sure you guys are convinced and all whatnot. I will also say that I fully tested the weapons. If you want to see detailed build guides on any of these two, link in the cards right now. So, for the standard elemental build, we're going to be having Serration, Split Chamber, Point Strike, Vital Sense, Vigilante, Armaments, and we're going to be making Corrosive with the two 60-60 mods and 190 mods. And we will be shooting Corrupted Heavy Gunner level 120. We're going to be testing against Grenier because everything else kind of falls too easily. If a weapon destroys Grenier targets, especially heavily armored targets, then it's pretty much a given that it's going to do well against any other faction. Just keep in mind to build elemental damage depending on your own circumstance. Now, the Dread is up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It should take 7 shots to kill a target. 7 shots on the target, and if I allow the bleed to proc, maybe 8 shots on the target. As you can see, a result such as this, when it comes to higher level play, I'm talking about level 100 plus, is not exactly fantastic. To me, both should be a one-shot kill affair, but the Dread will take 6 to 7 shots normally to kill off one of these high-level targets with an elemental build such as this. Keep in mind that that corrosive damage is getting amplified heavily. We are shooting ferrite armor, so therefore you're getting 75% extra. The punch through as well is working quite nicely. Oh wow, her red slash, that's fantastic. 9051. Now the red slash was generated by Vigilante Armaments. It was a crit up from an orange slash. So as you can see, the punch through is working quite nicely, and I can shoot through these targets and get multiple. See, 1, 2, and 3. That's thanks to the 2.5 meters worth of punch through. Of course, this can be amplified with something like Shred, for example, which is a very good idea, especially on the Dread, since it is a tad on the sluggish side. Many times I don't fully charge and I let go of the arrow simply because I want to kill the target already, and then I see low damage numbers. Okay, that's pretty much it for the Dread. We're going to be using the exact same build on the Rakta Cernos as well and see how it performs. The problem with the Rakta Cernos and showcasing it in a simulacrum environment is the fact that I can't really show off that fantastic proc it has, and it will matter a whole lot when it comes to normal, average, everyday missions. So do try to keep that one in mind when you're seeing all these test results. One more time, Corrupted Heavy Gun level 120, the Rakta Cernos is up. We got Corrosive proc on the first shot, take a look at that. And I'm firing a whole lot faster than before. And of course that will matter. But you're seeing a trend different from the Dread. If I'm getting an IPS proc, it's gonna be impact. Yeah, that's the problem with the damage layout. Even though the weapon has 25% more base damage than the Dread, it's impact base, so there is that to take into account. Oh, a slash as well, awesome. And as you can see, when it comes to test results, the Dread with an elemental build such as this is simply superior to the Rakta Cernos. You're not going to be getting 1000 procs anyway, but as you can see, I am proccing more impact than I am proccing slash with a build such as this. What about that punch through test? 1 meter, yes, 1 shot. I only hit the second target. Let's try some more, shall we? Second target. Third target is not gonna get hit, and again, that does matter. If you're gonna be using shred, then well, it doesn't matter as much, but again, 1 meter worth of punch through versus 2.5 is a pretty big difference, so bear that one in mind. That's pretty much it for the standard elemental build, but let's get into more powerful builds and more expensive mods. We're going to be testing bleed builds, and I'm also going to be throwing in a variation because I can already hear you guys screaming, where's the viral? Where's the viral, bro? Well, first let's go like this, then I'm going to highlight how useless viral can be in certain situations. So we got Serration, Point Strike, Split Chamber, Vital Sense, Vigilante, Armaments. We got Hunter Munitions because this is where our slash is going to be coming through. When it comes to the Rakta Cernos, you can't really play into its status chance, nor is it a good idea because again the slash value is extremely low in comparison to the impact. So our slashes are going to be coming through crits, through Hunter Munitions. To that effect, we get Argon Scope, so we can have a plus 100% critical chance, so all the arrows have that 30% chance of applying slash from Hunter Munitions. Bladed rounds, why? Well, more critical damage is a huge deal. Also, it will increase the value of our slashes. And this is the second build we're going to be testing. This is the first bleed build. Then we're going to switch up to vital and all whatnot. Argon Scope is up. This is not the full power of the build. I need to get a kill first in order to get that proc. Oh man, look at that. Was that a 4000? Yeah, that was a 4000. Okay, we got everything up now. 1 shot on the target. Take a look at that. When the stars align, 12,138 slash. It's a 1-shot affair, and this is why I love builds such as this. Now that was an extremely lucky shot. You got there 2 slashes, 2 orange slashes. Take a look, 7,691. Now the reason the value is lower now is because I didn't have bladed rounds up, and that is the value of bladed rounds. 12,000. Take a look, 2 shots on the target, that should be more than enough. If the stars align and you get the right slashes when you need them, a build such as this is simply going to murder everything that stands in its path, which is why on both of these weapons I would recommend slash builds over everything else. Let's try to get a couple of more shots in. Take a look at that. Beautiful, absolutely bloody beautiful. Now, for the king of crit, the Dread. Don't worry, we're gonna test viral too, hold your horses. With the exact same build as before. Let's make sure that the stats are not polluted and all whatnot. So Argon Scope, bladed rounds, Hunter Munitions. There we go. If you're thinking about something like heavy caliber, just don't. Okay, just don't. The resulting multi-shot, especially when it comes to projectile-based weapons, simply go haywire. Once again, I'm gonna have to kill one of these high-level targets to get my buff from bladed rounds. That should be more than enough, and with bladed rounds up, 1 shot on the target, 9,718 times 2, because again, you do get a higher base damage on the Rakta Cernos. Take a look. That's gonna be 3 slashes, oh man, 3 slashes, 9,718, absolutely murdering the target. Red slash, 14,391, 1 shot once again. Take a look. Now, because the Dread has a higher critical chance, therefore you're going to be getting a lot more orange slashes out of the weapon. Obviously, since you're going to be getting a whole lot more orange crits. Take a look. Absolutely bloody annihilating the target. Both weapons perform very well, but of course, the edge, once again, will be going to the Dread. One more. That's double slash on the target, 9,718 times 2, and of course the target will be bleeding out. So you see, I'm not using a Riven, and with both of the weapons, I'm already into 1-shot territory, which is absolutely fantastic. But what about viral? Lazar, viral, we should build viral. Should we really build viral? Very well, let's do it. Viral is the elemental combo between Cold and Toxin, and the reason why a lot of people simply praise it because on a status proc will be reducing the maximum health of your target to 50% for the duration of the viral proc. Couple that one with some slashes, sounds like a great idea. The problem is the reliability. It simply doesn't happen as often as it should. So basically if you kill a target but the viral is nowhere to be seen, then it's kind of pointless to build viral in the first place. But let me highlight that. We're gonna go with Toxin, and for the sake of presentation and all whatnot, we're gonna be using the 60-60 mods over the 90 mods just so we can get that viral the best chance it has at proccing. Malignant Force, Bladed Rounds, we gotta drop it this time. As for the cold one, it's gonna be Rhyme Rounds, and we're gonna be dropping Vigilante Armaments because I can't drop anything else. I don't wanna drop Argon Scope, I don't wanna drop Hunter Munitions either. Now, a higher status chance is also gonna mean more slash procs out of the Dread, because the Dread is a slash based weapon and IPS has a 4 times greater chance at proccing over elemental types. So if you were to build with 60-60 mods on the Rakta Cernos, then you're gonna be seeing a lot more impact procs, but when it comes to the Dread, it's all about that slash. 1 shot, 2, 3, and I think that's enough to kill the target, and I got an impact proc and a whole bunch of slash. As you can see, viral was nowhere to be found, and this is an issue with building viral for slash on a weapon such as this. The consistency is not there. 2 targets dead, no viral. 1, 2, 3. Ah, there it is. There's the viral proc. When it happens, when the planets do align and you get the slash procs with the viral procs, then it's gonna be absolutely bloody fantastic. But more often than not, your targets will be dying long before you see a viral proc. So there is that to take into account. It's simply inconsistent, and the weapon will be performing a lot better with Argon Scope and Bladed Rounds. Now, up until this point, the Dread has performed better in mostly all tests. There's really not that much I can say in the defense of the Rakta Cernos outside of the fact that it does have that syndicate proc, and in actual gameplay, it will make a difference. What about Rivens? Well, Riven disposition is the same across the board. 3 out of 5. Now the Dread recently got buffed, I think, on the launch of Fortuna. So you're going to be seeing Rivens such as this one. Obviously this is a pretty good one, multi-shot critical chance and minus zoom. And I'm going to highlight it for kicks and lols. And we're also going to be taking a look at a Riven for the Rakta Cernos. You see, the problem is that both of the weapons perform better with a critical bleed build, with something like this, and the Rakta Cernos has a lower critical chance. Gotta love those red numbers. Absolutely bloody. Oh man, that is just freaking fantastic. Red slashes are bloody amazing, and the values are sky high, 14,391. As for the Rakta Cernos, I didn't ignore it, I definitely not. I went out of my way, tried to get the best Riven that I could, but unfortunately, it's not as good as the Dread Riven. Take a look. On the Rakta Cernos, we got a Akriata, which is far from being bad, with critical damage, and of course the same setup, proven to be better as before. Now I'm highlighting these just for kicks and lols, and just to reassure you guys that any of these 2 weapons will be doing fantastically well when it comes to higher level content. You can get 1 shots out of both of them with or without a Riven. Let's get that buff from Bladed Rounds. There we go. Am I into 1-shot territory? Take a look at the value, 26,000 plus on a slash from the Rakta Cernos. Again, both of these weapons are absolutely fantastic. And it's gonna come down to how much weight does that syndicate proc carry for you? How useful do you find it in normal, average, everyday missions? From my point of view, it is very important, but that said, the Dread is simply the more powerful weapon. And from my point of view, it is the best traditional style bow in the game. And I think that's pretty much everything. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. If you got any feedback from me, then by all means drop it in the comment section down below. Also in the comment section down below if you want to suggest a particular weapon review or versus. If you want to support the channel, check out Patreon and perhaps consider pledging. But that's gonna do it for now. I'll see you guys in the next one.